Today, we're talking about how to become a better listener if you struggle with overthinking. Welcome back to the Relearn Relationships podcast. If you are someone who struggles with overthinking, you get stuck in your head a lot, you find yourself ruminating on things, this podcast is for you. I was recently interviewed on another podcast, and the host asked me whether or not I thought overthinkers were bad listeners. And if you were someone who was constantly thinking and processing, whether externally, talking it out, or internally, thinking through it, did that hinder your ability to listen? I don't believe having the tendency to overthink equals you're a bad listener. But what it can do is it can keep you out of the present moment, because while your partner or your loved one or whoever is talking to you, you're thinking through your response. You're playing your own tape in the background. So you're hearing them, but you're not with them. You're not in the moment. You're beyond the moment. You're worrying about the future, the thing that you will say next. So I want to give you a couple of tips that you can use today and some tools to be able to bring yourself back to the present moment and make sure you're hearing what your partner's saying instead of trying to come up with your response. So first, let's dig into why would you do this in the first place if you're an overthinker? Well, like many of the things I talk about, I want to take it back to childhood. So when you were little and you developed this pattern of overthinking, it likely kept you safe. It gave you some kind of sense of security when you were younger. Maybe being really careful about your responses to people kept you from punishment. Or maybe you felt like you had to kind of bear the emotional burden from one of your parents, and so you kind of stepped lightly on the things that you would say. Whenever I hear someone tell me that they're an empath, I always wonder if maybe when they were little, they carried an emotional burden for their parents, or if it behooved them, if it helped them to be able to read the vibe of a room to know whether or not it was safe for them to enter. It was safe for them to be there because maybe they grew up in an unstable, kind of volatile environment. So if you relate to that, and that is you, and you've developed this pattern of overthinking, I want you to give yourself a little bit of grace. Because again, at some point, this pattern was everything to you. You needed this pattern, or at least you felt that you needed this pattern as a form of security. But now you're an adult, you have agency, and we can let this pattern go. So let's get into these 3 simple tips, tools, whatever you want to call them, to stay grounded and present in a conversation. The first one is your body language. Whenever you're talking to your partner, especially if it is a conversation where it's kind of emotionally charged, maybe there's some conflict in it, some friction, I want you to notice what you naturally do with your body. Do you fold your arms? Do you clench your fists? Do you sit back, lean back? What is your body doing? And when you're ready to practice this, I want you to practice an open, receptive body posture. So what does that look like? If you're seated, you can just sit in your chair, and I want you to take your palms, lay them in your lap facing up. So your palms are facing the ceiling or the sky if you're outside, and they're unclenched, they're open. Now, I'm sitting at my kitchen counter as I record this, so if I was talking to my partner on the other side of the counter, he wouldn't be able to see my hands. And it's not about what he sees, it's about what I'm signaling to my body in this moment. I am telling my body that I'm open and receptive. When you fold your arms, you're telling yourself that I am closed off, right? Have you ever talked to someone and seen that where they'll kind of fold their arms and lean back, and it almost feels like they've left the conversation a little bit? So I want you to signal to yourself that I'm in listening mode. I am receptive to what this person is saying to me. The next part of your body is your eyes. It's focusing your eyes on your partner. It's making eye contact. Now, you don't need to lock them in a death glare. You can blink, but it's maintaining focus on them. It's not reaching for your phone and looking down. It's not looking around the room. It's not rolling your eyes. It's having your eyes focused in on the person who's speaking to you. Another thing this does, the eye contact, is it signals not only to yourself that I'm staying present, it lets them know that you're listening, that you're with them. And then the last piece, when it comes to your body and listening, I want you to notice if you're clenching your jaw. or if you're tightening your shoulders. Are you holding tension in your body? And if you notice this during the conversation, just gently release. Just remind yourself, release my jaw, release the tension. Again, you're just signaling to yourself that I am open, I'm receptive, and I'm listening right now. The second tip or tool to stay present while you're trying to listen to your partner is to notice your breath. What is your breath doing? Are you breathing quickly? Are you breathing just kind of normally? I want you to notice first what your tendency is, and then I want you to focus on deep breaths. Now, you don't have to take really loud, like, if you start sighing, they're probably going to be not offended, but they're going to think you're signaling something else. We've all been there when we're talking to someone and they give us that irritated sigh or kind of exasperated sigh. That's not what we're going for. We're going for a deeper breath down to your belly to ground yourself, to slow yourself down. Because again, we're trying to pull you out of your racing mind, the overthinking mind, the ruminating mind, and back to the present moment. So you've already checked your body, you're sitting in a more receptive posture, you're maintaining eye contact, and now you're just slowing your breath. This will help ground you in the conversation so that you can focus on what's in front of you. Now, the third thing you can do to help stay present and become a better listener if you're someone who struggles with overthinking is to summarize or paraphrase back to your partner or whoever you're speaking to what they have said and ask them, is this what you mean or is it something else? Now, the reason this is so helpful is in order for us to summarize what someone said, we have to listen to them. We have to hear them. And it's kind of a checks and balances for us because our partner is going to let us know very quickly whether or not that's what they meant. So your body posture is open and receptive. Your breath is grounding. And now you're listening to understand what your partner is saying. And when they finish, before you go into whatever it is you want to say, your rebuttal, your thoughts, your opinion, you say back to them, this is what I hear you saying. Summarize, paraphrase. Is this what you meant or is it something else? What I love about this is one, it will cut down on misunderstandings in your relationship. When you are asking for clarity instead of just responding, you're less likely to misunderstand each other. You're not going to be making assumptions. And it keeps you focused on the conversation because as they're speaking, if your goal is to repeat what they said back to them or in a paraphrased manner, then your mind is focused on that instead of on your response or your reaction. I know how easy it is when you have an overthinking mind and you have that pattern that kept you safe for so long to go back to it. And it can also keep you in a place where you struggle to get your own words out because you're afraid of the outcome. Maybe you've done this. I have done this so many times where I will think through what I'm going to say as quickly as I can so that I can weigh whether or not I'm going to get a good response. And I'll play out different scenarios in my head. By using these three tools, you not only stay more focused and present in the conversation, but you're also helping regulate your body because you're in an open posture, you're noticing your breath, and you're staying in the present. If you want to go deeper and you want more support in grounding yourself and calming your mind when you're feeling anxious, then I have something free for you. It's my Feel to Heal starter kit. It's a simple guide with a 5-minute grounding meditation to calm anxiety. If you want to get your hands on that, you can go to the show notes for the link. If you are following me on Instagram, you can DM me the word heal. Or if you're on Substack, the link is all over my posts, so you can go there. But again, if you're listening to a podcast, the quickest way to get it is to just check out the show notes, go to the link, download the free guide and meditation. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you choose growth this week.